The Green Bay Packers are on the verge of a significant shift in their roster strategy, particularly in the cornerback position. After a long-standing drought of drafting cornerbacks early, it appears that General Manager Brian Gutekunst is ready to shake things up. So, where are you watching from? And what do you think about this change in direction? For the past 2 seasons, the cornerback position has remained a glaring issue for the Packers. Since selecting Eric Stokes in the first round back in 2021, the front office has not invested in a cornerback until the late rounds, a trend that is about to be reversed. Gutekunst's recent statements during a pre-draft press conference indicate that not only is he prepared to select one cornerback, but he may be looking to add multiple players in this vital position. It's clear that the team has trust in their top 3 cornerbacks, Keisean Nixon, Carrington, Valentine, and the newly acquired Benjamin St. Just. However, this confidence comes with a caveat. Both Nixon and Valentine are entering contract years, and while St. Just is signed through 2027, the Packers need to think long-term. We're going to have to add numbers there, Gutekunst confirmed. This isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about building a sustainable defensive backfield that can weather the ups and downs of the NFL season. Beyond the established trio, the Packers have some intriguing developmental pieces. Kamal Hadden, Shamar Bartholomew, and Bo Melton, alongside Jalen Simpson and Jonathan Baldwin, who offer cornerback/safety versatility. The potential of these players is not lost on Gutekunst, especially with the new defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, at the helm. Some of our young guys, I'm interested to see with our new coaching staff how they adapt to what we're going to be and what we ask them to do, he stated. The infusion of new coaching perspectives could be the catalyst that propels these young athletes to the next level. As the Packers prepare for the draft, they hold 8 picks, though they face a unique challenge. This is the first time in 40 years that they won't have a first-round pick. Yet, Gutekunst assures fans that the Packer way remains intact. Our process stays the same, he said. While there may be a different allocation of time spent on certain evaluations, the core values of finding the best talent remain unchanged. The urgency to prioritize the cornerback position is palpable. Fans are right to question whether this newfound commitment to the secondary will translate into immediate results on the field. This defensive overhaul could either solidify the Packers' defensive identity or expose lingering weaknesses if not executed properly. With the draft looming, the excitement is building. Will the Packers capitalize on this opportunity to secure the future of their cornerback unit? As we transition to our next story, the decisions made in the coming days could very well define the trajectory of the Green Bay Packers for years to come. As we delve deeper into the Packers' pre-draft strategy, one thing is crystal clear. General Manager Brian Gutekunst is taking a hard look at the cornerback position. With the NFL draft just around the corner, the urgency to bolster this critical unit is palpable. So, Packers fans, where are you watching from? Let's hear your thoughts on what you think the team should do in this draft. Gutekunst, during his recent press conference, underscored the necessity of adding depth to the cornerback room. We are going to add numbers there, he stated, highlighting the current roster with Benjamin St. Just, Keisean Nixon, and Carrington Valentine, all of whom have accumulated meaningful experience. However, that's where the comfort ends. The depth behind these players is concerning, with untested talents like Kamal Hadden, Bo Melton, Shamar Bartholomew, and Jalen Simpson lingering in the shadows. Over the past 4 drafts, Gutekunst's track record in the secondary has left many scratching their heads, having selected only 3 cornerbacks, each in the 7th round. His attempt to snag Nate Hobbs via free agency last season was a miscalculation, leading to his release this offseason. The addition of St. Just, who showed promise with the Commanders and had a standout season with the Chargers, is a step in the right direction, but it doesn't erase the glaring need for reinforcements. It's no surprise the Packers have prioritized cornerbacks in their pre-draft visits, and it's a clear signal that a major overhaul may be on the horizon. Moving beyond the secondary, the quarterback situation is another area of focus. Malik Willis, who provided solid backup support for 2 seasons, has departed to Miami, prompting Gutekunst to sign Desmond Ridder and Kyle McCord. Ridder, with 18 starts under his belt, brings experience to the table. But the question remains, will Gutekunst look to further enhance the quarterback room during the draft? I think we're always looking to add to that room, he confirmed, emphasizing the perpetual evaluation of the most critical position in the sport. With a strong draft class on the horizon, the Packers must weigh their options carefully. As we assess the defensive line, new defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon is shifting back to a 3-4 scheme, which necessitates a reliable nose tackle. Though Javon Hargrave showcased versatility last season, he won't be filling that role. Gutekunst has mentioned in-house candidates like Nazir Stackhouse, Jonathan Ford, and Warren Brinson, but the lack of proven depth raises questions. The team needs to solidify its front seven, especially if they want to withstand the rigors of a demanding season. The offensive line is also in a state of flux. With the release of Elgton Jenkins and the non-renewal of Rashid Walker, the Packers are banking on Sean Rhyan stepping up at center, Jordan Morgan taking on the left tackle position. While Gutekunst expresses confidence in their starting five, the reality is that injuries have plagued this unit, leaving them short-staffed. Yes, the potential is there, but it remains to be seen if these players can stay healthy and perform at a high level. The receiver core is undergoing significant changes, too. The decision not to re-sign Romeo Dew, coupled with the trade of Dontavian Wicks to the Eagles for draft picks, signals a shift in strategy. Gutekunst rationalized the move, explaining that the team had too many players in that room and needed to make space for the future. This opens the door for returning players like Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, and Matthew Golden to step into larger roles. Yet, the specter of injuries looms large. Last season, Watson and Reed were limited in their snap counts due to injuries, and Golden didn't find the end zone until the playoffs. Gutekunst's words resonate. I'd rather really have a bunch of really good players and have the issue of having the mouths to feed more so than not having them. This philosophy might hint at a push to bolster the receiving core in the upcoming draft, a move that could provide much-needed depth and competition. A critical deadline is fast approaching as the Packers must decide on the fifth-year option for Lucas Van Ness, their first-round pick from 2023. The decision, which will determine whether he remains with the team through 2027, is looming. Gutekunst's comments indicate that he's weighing the implications carefully but has yet to finalize the choice. As we continue to analyze the Packers' strategy heading into the draft, one thing becomes evident. This is a pivotal moment for Green Bay. The decisions made in the coming days will set the tone for the future. What do you think the Packers should prioritize? Be sure to leave your comments below, and let's discuss where this team is headed. Draft week is upon us, Green Bay Packers fans, and anticipation is buzzing as we prepare for the announcement of a fresh class of Packers on Friday and Saturday in Pittsburgh. Despite the fact that our first-round pick has been sent to the Cowboys as part of the Micah Parsons deal, this draft is still pivotal for General Manager Brian Gutekunst. It's time for him to nail this draft with precision to ensure our beloved Packers remain competitive in the evolving landscape of the NFL. Since Aaron Rodgers departed 3 seasons ago, the Packers have found themselves in the wild card weekend every year, yet we've only managed a solitary victory during this stretch. As young, cost-effective talent either leaves for more lucrative contracts or gets extended, Gutekunst faces the monumental task of revitalizing the roster while filling crucial gaps. The stakes couldn't be higher, and here's a breakdown of players who could bolster our roster at every pick, along with a few honorable mentions. First, let's address the glaring needs on defense. The Packers' playoff performance exposed significant weaknesses that must be remedied. Cornerback has emerged as a critical area for improvement. While Keisean Nixon and Carrington Valentine have shown promise, they may have been judged too harshly. Enter Chris Johnson, a cornerback who embodies the athleticism and skill set the Packers require. Johnson has excelled in coverage, boasting impressive statistics and a knack for interceptions. The front office has already shown interest by hosting a virtual meeting with him this offseason, indicating a clear synergy in values. However, the concern with Johnson is his availability. He played in a mid-tier conference and only stood out in his final collegiate season, placing him at number 38 on the consensus draft board. This puts him within reach at pick 52, but it means the draft order must play in our favor for this to be the ideal start in what we hope will be a perfect Packers draft. Next up is Kristen Miller from Georgia, a defensive tackle who could fill another significant void in our run-stopping defense. The Packers have a love affair with Georgia players, and Miller's invitation as a top 30 prospect only solidifies that. But the question remains, Will Gutekunst consider selecting a non-skill position so early in the draft? As we analyze the offensive line, Jennings Dunker from Iowa is another intriguing option. While adding depth to the offensive line is always a priority, the urgency isn't as pronounced right now. Dunker possesses the versatility that typifies a Packers offensive lineman, yet the immediate need isn't screaming for his name to be called. Wide receiver is a somewhat sneaky need for the Packers following the trade of Dontavian Wicks. Chris Brazzell from Tennessee fits the bill as a physical and fast option, but he comes from a system that may not have honed him into a ready-to-go pro wideout. As we look further down the list, the need for a gap-filling run defender remains. Choosing a player like Orange in the second round could provide immediate reinforcement for a defense that struggled last season. Despite not being a dominant pass rusher, he fits the Packers' mold as a top athlete and could shore up a shaky defensive line. If Chris Johnson is off the board, Malik Muhammad from Texas stands as a solid alternative. Though lighter than typical Packers cornerbacks, his talents have garnered attention, including a top 30 visit. Ted Hurst from Georgia State could serve as a worthy replacement for Wicks, especially given his alignment with Matt LaFleur's preferences for wide receivers. However, his limited exposure at a smaller school raises questions about his readiness. Then there's Danny Dennis Sutton from Penn State, who could fill a sneaky need at defensive end, particularly with Micah Parsons missing the start of the season. His freakish athleticism and production signal that he could contribute immediately. Fans are certainly excited about the potential for increased roles for Christian Watson and Matthew Golden, but adding Stribling could be a game changer. He embodies the ideal traits of a Matt LaFleur receiver: tall, fast, and a willing blocker. His deep threat capability is undeniable, although his linear athleticism may limit his route-running versatility. Austin Barber from Florida represents the type of offensive lineman the Packers traditionally seek. He's versatile and athletic, making him a fit for either tackle position. His height may be atypical, but it could play to his advantage as he adapts to the NFL's pace. Chris McClellan from Mizzou has drawn Mike Daniels comparisons, which is music to the ears of Packers fans. While he needs development, his run and pass production make him an enticing prospect. Caleb Proctor from southeastern Louisiana may not fit the traditional defensive lineman mold, but his exceptional pass rushing ability paired with elite speed makes him an intriguing choice. His smaller stature hasn't deterred the Packers from showing interest, as evidenced by their meetings. Sam Roush from Stanford could be the tight end we need, an athletic, effective blocker with pass-catching potential. However, the tight end room is already crowded, which could hinder his chances. FCS talent Demings has shown he can compete at a high level, demonstrating agility and aggression as an outside cornerback. The learning curve may be steep, but the Packers' need for solid corner play makes him a worthy gamble. Jeff Caldwell from Cincinnati has the physical build for a Packers wide receiver, though he needs to refine his footwork and strength. He might not hit the ground running, but he's a name to keep an eye on. As we dive deeper, the running back position is on the mind. Damon Claiborne from Wake Forest showcased explosive speed at the Shrine Bowl, but his path hinges on the health of Josh Jacobs. If Jacobs remains the go-to, Claiborne could be seen as the future. Taylon Green from Arkansas could serve as a backup option with significant upside. While he may not fit the mold of a future starter, his athleticism could flourish in LaFleur's system. Tucker from Western Michigan is another player to watch, especially as a potential replacement for Kingsley Enagbare. His impressive stats in his final season make him a compelling option for the Packers. TJ Hall is another cornerback who fits the Packers system, but his athletic limitations could hinder his effectiveness. As we round out this list, Kalen Black from Indiana has the physical traits that align with the Packers' running back philosophy. But will he be seen as a complement to Josh Jacobs or a potential successor? Robinson's strong Shrine Bowl performance caught the Packers' eye, but his size could limit his effectiveness against bigger offensive linemen. Yet his explosive potential makes him a late-round lottery ticket worth considering. Mason Reiger from Wisconsin is a local prospect who could become a rotational edge player. While he has the tools, his physical attributes may raise some questions. Lastly, we have Thaddeus Dixon from North Carolina, a cornerback who could bolster a secondary. His athleticism is promising, but will he find a field outside of specific situations? As we prepare for the draft, the excitement is palpable. The Packers are at a crucial juncture, and the decisions made in the coming days will shape the future of this franchise. Which prospect do you think should wear the green and gold next season? Where are you watching from? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analysis and updates on your Green Bay Packers.